chilling mystery. The Robin Cornell case. A woman left her daughter in the care of a friend for one evening. When she returned home, she was met with a scene more reminiscent of a horror movie than reality. While she was away, horrific events unfolded, and the police were immediately involved. Detectives found several clues and messages left by the perpetrator, but it took nearly 3 decades to solve the mystery, only succeeding after 26 years due to one fortuitous turn of events. Robin Cornell was born on November 30th, 1978, in Florida. She had an older sister and a loving mother, Jeanne, who raised her daughters alone, as their father was not actively involved in their lives. When Robin was 10, they moved to a town called Bonnie. They chose a home just a few minutes' walk from Jen's work. Robin's older sister went off to college and moved out, so it was just Jeanne and Robin living together. Robin quickly adapted to her new town, made friends at her new school, joined local sports teams, and loved spending time outdoors with her friends. Above all, she loved animals. One day, Robin found an injured bird, brought it home, and cared for it until it could fly again. Jeanne was also happy with the move. She had a good job and met a man named Donald, with whom she began a relationship. Jeanne, who had dedicated her life to her daughter and her job, was thrilled to finally find personal happiness. In Bonnie, Jeanne also became friends with a colleague named Lisa, and they soon became best friends. In early May 1990, Jeanne invited Lisa to move in with them, as Lisa was struggling to afford rent on her own. Jeanne was happy to share the rent, and there was plenty of space in their 2-story townhouse. Lisa moved in and got along well with 11-year-old Robin, even agreeing to look after her when Jeanne was at work. On the evening of May 9th, a week after Lisa moved in, Jeanne planned to go to Donald's to watch a game with him. Initially, she considered cancelling because she felt awkward asking Lisa to watch Robin all evening. However, Lisa assured her it was no problem, and Jeanne went to Donald's. Robin stayed with Lisa, and Jeanne planned to return home in a few hours, as she had an early shift at the hospital. Jeanne accidentally fell asleep while watching TV at Donald's and woke up around 3 a.m. She quickly gathered her things and headed home. When she arrived, she found the door locked with 2 bolts, which was unusual since she had told Lisa she only had a key for the top lock. As she fumbled with the lock, she heard footsteps behind the door, but then silence. After knocking several times with no response, Jeanne decided to check the back door. It was slightly ajar, which worried her. She assumed Lisa might have forgotten to close it after letting her cats out. Entering the house, Jen's concern grew as she found family photos of Robin and her older daughter laid out on the ironing board, which usually hung on the wall. The house was in disarray, with many items scattered and broken, indicating something terrible had happened. Jeanne went upstairs to Robin's room and found a heart-wrenching sight. Robin lay face down on the floor, partially undressed. Jeanne realized her daughter was dead as her body was cold, but in her shock, she tried to provide first aid and called for help, screaming for the neighbors. The police arrived quickly and confirmed Robin's death. They also found Lisa's body in another room, with bruises and signs of a struggle. Medical examiners determined both had been strangled and assaulted. Detectives found several clues, including foreign hairs and a set of car keys for a Toyota. The perpetrator seemed to have taken a shower after the crime, and several personal items of Lisa's were missing, including her driver's license, credit cards, and a watch with a personal engraving. Despite the evidence, the investigation stalled. Police interviewed neighbors and checked alibis, but no strong suspects emerged. DNA from the scene didn't match anyone in the FBI database or among the neighbors who provided samples. 4 years, the case remained unsolved, despite periodic appeals to the public for information and revisits by detectives. In 2005, the case was reopened, and a detective was assigned full-time for 6 months, but found no new leads. In 2016, the case took an unexpected turn when a man named Joseph Ziliya was arrested for assaulting his son. His DNA, entered into a database, matched the DNA from the crime scene. Ziliya, who had a criminal history, had never been a suspect. He was arrested and charged with the murders. The trial began on May 8, 2023, 33 years after the murders. The prosecution presented strong DNA evidence linking Ziliya to the crime. Despite his erratic behavior in court and denial of guilt, the jury found him guilty. His defense's attempts to mitigate his sentence by citing his difficult upbringing and mental health issues were unsuccessful. In June 2023, Ziliya was sentenced to death.